So, when is bullying illegal? Most of the time, bullying at work is not illegal, but sometimes it is. For bullying to be illegal, it has to meet the requirements of a hostile work environment. And in this video, I'm going to explain the differences between workplace bullying and a hostile work environment. So stick around. Okay, so first off, nothing in this video is legal advice. This is just legal information. But if you want legal advice and you think you're the victim of a hostile work environment and you live in Washington State, feel free to reach out to my firm. The link to my website is in the description below. Having to deal with a workplace bully can be an absolutely miserable experience, and I hear about it all the time. But most of the time, bullying alone is not illegal. To have an actionable legal claim, the bullying has to meet certain criteria. And when those criteria are met, it's called a hostile work environment, and it forms the basis of an actionable legal claim. And I'll get into what exactly those criteria are in the next chapter of this video. But first off, let's just start with the differences between bullying on one end and a hostile work environment on the other. Bullying is when there's a jerk in the workplace. The bully may tease you, or yell at you, or make negative comments about you. They may blame you for problems you didn't create, or discount the contributions that you did make. If the bully is your manager, they might give you unrealistic work expectations or timelines, or they might excessively monitor your work, or they might give you negative feedback that you don't deserve. And while those things are miserable to deal with, generally, they're not legally actionable. However, the bullying can turn into a hostile work environment and become illegal if the bully is targeting you because of your protected characteristics, like your gender, your race, your age over 40, or your disability, just to name a few. Your protected characteristics are those things about yourself that you cannot change. This illegal conduct would include things like sexual comments or racist comments, or teasing you for being older than everyone else, or making fun of your disability status. So the bottom line is this. If the bully is just being a jerk and making your life miserable because they don't like you, it's probably not illegal. But if the bully is targeting you because of your protected characteristics, then the bullying may constitute a hostile work environment, and you may have a legal claim. So let's explore what exactly constitutes a hostile work environment. So, what are the criteria of a hostile work environment? I'll put them up here. First, as we've already discussed, the bullying must involve language or conduct concerning your protected characteristics, or that only occurred because of your protected characteristics. Second, the language or conduct must be unwelcome. And third, the language or conduct must be so severe or pervasive that it alters the conditions of your employment. So let's break down each of those elements a little further. First, the language or conduct must be concerning or on the basis of your protected characteristics. And I'll put a list of those characteristics up here. These characteristics are things like your age, race, sex, gender, LGBTQ status, and disability, just to name a few. The bully makes comments or conduct concerning your protected characteristics when their comments or conduct are explicitly linked to your protected characteristics, like by saying something racist or sexist or ageist. But the bully doesn't have to explicitly say racist or sexist things. If the bully is targeting you because of your protected characteristics and not anyone else, the bully's conduct alone may be attributable to your protected characteristics, which also counts, but it will depend on the circumstances. Second, the language has to be unwelcome. That means that you found the words or conduct to be offensive, and you did not solicit or incite the behavior. The best way for a worker to show that they found the conduct offensive and did not incite the behavior is by telling the bully that they found it offensive and reporting it to HR or management. Putting your complaint in writing is always best because it creates a record, which we can use as evidence later on. Finally, the language or conduct must be so severe or pervasive that it alters the conditions of your employment. Severe means it was extreme, like threatening or touching. Pervasive means that it happened persistently over a period of time, and it can be one or the other. Altering conditions of employment means that the bullying made it more difficult for you to do your job. Maybe you had to change where you worked, or when you came to work, or you had to take an earlier lunch. Anything that made your job more difficult to do. So now that you know what a hostile work environment looks like, the next question is your employer responsible? Well, employers are responsible for the hostile work environment under two scenarios. First, if an owner or corporate officer or manager participated in the hostile work environment, the employer is automatically on the hook. But what if it was a coworker or non-managerial staff? Well, under those circumstances, the employer is still responsible if they knew or should have known about the hostile work environment and failed to remedy the situation. An employer knows or should know about a hostile work environment if you report it to HR, or it's so pervasive through other circumstances that it should just be obvious to the employer. And when the employer fails to take any corrective action like investigating your complaint or separating you from your bully or disciplining the bully, the employer is then liable for the hostile work environment. So there you go. Now you know the difference between run-of-the-mill bullying and the legal claim known as hostile work environment. Bullying is generally not illegal, while a hostile work environment is. And bullying can turn into a hostile work environment if the bully is targeting you because of your protected characteristics. If you think you were subjected to a hostile work environment, reach out to an employment lawyer. If you live in Washington, feel free to reach out to my firm. The link to my website is in the description below. That's all for me this week. See you next time.